Like a murder with no alibi. I'm guilty, but I don't know why.
I feel like I haven't seen you in ages.
Oh,
It's
that's
so
the
nice to
thing. That's the thing. It felt like at some point we saw each other very much, but now we've been too long apart.
we have. I miss you. I miss you,
Same
dude.
here, same here. It's insane, honestly. Every time we get off a tour, it feels so weird because it's like you're in the, you're in a kind of bubble with everyone, and you feel like you meet a lot of people, but you also see a lot of the same faces. Then you're just suddenly again in your kind of regular life, and it feels so fucking weird. So I'm ready to
Oh, I
get
bet.
back.
I suppose being on tour as well, you don't see like your friends and family like you normally do when you're at home, and then all of a sudden they're there. I can imagine that being little bit weird.
Oh, exactly. That's the thing. But I mean, it's also cool with like, especially with our guys, because obviously we don't all live in the same place, and it's just a fact of life that we don't practice as much as we did, when we were kids, when we gathered every single day at the rehearsal place. So what
Oh,
makes me so happy is that every time we go out for a long tour, it feels like we've always been together. It's like we pick up we start from where we left it off the last time, and it's like it gives a good kind of reassurance that we're fucking brothers, we're family together. So that's always
yeah.
cool.
And that makes the best band. If you've all got that connection and that bond, you're gonna be together
Exactly.
forever, aren't you?
No, definitely, definitely. And yeah, I mean that's the main thing. I mean, because like with your best friends, it usually goes that way, that you don't need to stay in contact every single day, but when you meet, then you kind of realize that, yeah, this is exactly how it's supposed to be. So we're lucky in that sense.
Oh, 100%,
Well,
100%. You've got so much on. You got the tour. You got the awards this week. It's just
Yes, yes. And I finally got an outfit for it, so now I can kind of sleep my nights better.
that was going to be one of my questions that you've actually sorted out your outfit. Are you going to look absolutely fabulous?
Oh, I mean, that's what I plan to do. That's what I plan to do. No, I mean, because I tend to be one of those people that I don't overly stress things that I should stress about, but then about a week before it happens, I'm like, oh shit, now I got to think about it. But luckily, I was in Helsinki. My one of my best friends came out with me, and we just went through the whole city looking for stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with what we found. And everyone will
Excellent.
see it on fucking, what day is it? Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. Friday. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to ask, you've been obviously doing the tours and everything like that, as well as your acoustic stuff. Obviously, because they're both completely different things. How do you prepare for those?
Well, to be honest, like nowadays, it's getting increasingly easier to prepare for Lost Society shows and tours, because I feel like that's just one of those things that we're so kind of we're so molded together as we've been doing it for so long, and every time we make a record, we're rehearsing for the record, and when we rehearse for a tour, it's like we get so deep into the material that it feels like just another day in the office in that sense, in a way that we don't need to stress out about whether or not we are able to play the material or perform. It's more about the place that we're going to, which I honestly love at this point, because it kind of gives you the freedom and the luxury of only kind of stressing or worrying about the venue you're in or the audience that you're going to see. But you always kind of know that, okay, well, the music goes like this. I don't need to worry about that at all. So that's the good thing with Lost Society. But it's actually crazy. I was just talking about this to one of my friends when I did the acoustic thing last weekend, that
Mhm.
honestly, I could do like a show with Lost Society for 20,000 people after not playing for like a year, and I wouldn't be stressed out. But knowing that I'm doing an acoustic show just myself, being so kind of stripped in front of everyone, that makes me
Mhm.
nervous. It's insane. And I feel like that's just one of those things that any kind of performer will always kind of relate to. It's like when you're alone, when you're so kind of naked in front of everyone, that's the most intimidating scene that you can be in, versus doing it with a band when you know that it's four people who are kind of constantly helping each other. It's like
Yeah.
you're not like, the way we kind of perform is that we all think that we're the center of attention. So it kind of helps, because then when there's four of those people, that everyone's kind of giving it their all. But yeah, an acoustic show, I mean, all I can do to prepare is just practice. And usually I don't. So it's just one of those things that I realized about about a couple of hours before the show that, okay, fuck. But then we just do it. That's it. I mean, honestly, in the end of the day, even if you do something like that and you haven't rehearsed at all, it can go terribly because still I've done this for about 12 years. So it would be kind of weird if it completely kind of, went downhill. Or at least that's what I think. It could be that's a fucking disaster, but who knows?
I suppose if you did do something wrong, you could say you was just improvising. So.
Exactly. And it was, I think it was David Lee Roth of Van Halen, who years and years and years ago said that if you fuck up on stage, you just have to make sure you do it again, because then it's not a fuck up, then you're doing it twice, which means that you've planned it out.
Oh, I like it.
And I love that quote, and I've definitely used it.
Bless you. Okay. Now when you're on a big tour and you're basically living on a bus, what are the rules for the bus? I've heard that number one is no shitting on the bus.
I mean, that's the thing. Number one is no number twos, and that's it, basically. Like, I'd say probably like the most important thing kind of relating to just everyone on the bus and kind of your privacy aspect is the fact that every one of your bunks, it has this little kind of curtain that you can pull, when you're sleeping or whatever. And the general rule is when you've pulled that curtain in front of you, then it's like you don't exist. It's like no one can invade your privacy. And to be honest, I think that's one of the most important things because, I mean, just as any relationship, if you're, confined in this little space with these other people for such a long time, you have to respect your boundaries, one another's boundaries. And, it can be a very easy place for even little arguments to get massive. But if you just, learn to you learn when not to speak and you learn when to speak to other people. And I'd say that's probably the most important thing. And it's like, because it can be just like someone's having a bad day, someone's got bad news from home, someone's homesick. It can be just little things like that. Or in my case, when you haven't had a fucking cup of coffee. And it's like, it's just general knowledge that at that state of mind, no one should talk to you, or they should expect you to be a total, fucking asshole at that point. Yeah. But other than that, I'd say it's pretty straightforward because, especially for us, we've been touring for so long that we know how you act, like with, if you're drinking, you throw your shit away. You don't, you don't mess around other people's bunks and stuff like that. It's like, it's fairly simple in the end of the day. And it's not unlike something that you would do just, with a roommate or, living at home or whatever.
Yeah. No, I can see that because you've all got to work together at the end of the day. So
exactly.
You've all got to be on as best terms as possible, or otherwise it will show when you're on stage and things, won't it?
That's the thing. I mean, it's one of those things that I was just talking about it literally with my family a couple of weeks ago. That is like, there's such a it's so weird when you think about being a musician in a way, because I mean, a lot of people forget that it is a job in the end of the day. It is a profession where you're supposed to deliver probably like, the most high adrenaline kind of thing that you do in your regular life. So how many different jobs is it kind of almost required that you get shit-faced after every show, and like that it's such a normal aspect that you have a lot of booze or you have drugs or shit like rolling around. It's like that happens in no other world except the music world. So to me, that's kind of one of those things that I feel like for very young bands, they're super susceptible to get, caught up in all of that bullshit. And that's why they'll kind of fuck away their whole, non-existent career at a very early stage, which is kind of a bummer. But, as I said earlier, we've done it for enough time that we know what you're supposed to do and how you can handle all of it.
Oh yeah, you're pros now. I mean, you've been going quite a while, so.
I mean, pros in that sense, but I don't think we'll ever be fully prepared or fully kind of there. And I think that's cool, but we definitely know how to act on a tour that we don't, that we won't kind of get kicked out halfway there.
Or kicked off for climbing, as you did in London?
Oh, God damn it. I got scolded so hard from my manager after that. And I get it, because he's been scolding me for so many years, and he's just telling me that I'm a liability, and we're having issues with our insurance companies because of all of that. But you know, I told him that actually, like, after London, I'm not even particularly, you know, excited to do it anymore, because I feel like I reached the level and I'm like, you know what, I'm fine there. I'm fine stopping now and just, you know, just kind of performing better after that.
But we'll just call that the climbing era. That'll be fine.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
we'll call it that. That's good.
That's fine. Well, I'm glad that I saw it then, so that's fine.
Exactly. It's one of those things that everyone will be talking about in 50 years, and you'll be like, I was one of the lucky few to see it.
Brilliant, though. It adds a little bit of, like, theatre to it, I suppose.
Exactly. No, I mean, that's the thing, because I feel like I remember, like, I lively remember the conversation after that show when obviously, like, obviously all of our guys were super excited. I was super excited, and most of the venue people were also excited. It was just a little portion of the security who was kind of bummed out about it. But it's like, we had the conversation where we were like, it's weird how nowadays so many people are so quick to be like, oh, there's no danger in rock and roll anymore and everything's so safe. But then the moment anyone fucking does something, you know, remotely cool on stage, everyone's fucking pissed off about it. It's like, it's impossible to please anyone in 2022. But, you know, I mean,
it's health and safety in it. It's gone bad.
Down to the basics also, I don't do shit like that to please anybody. It's just because it's just like, because I like to have a good time. So I think that's the main thing. As long as you're having a good time and you don't, you know, accidentally kill yourself, I think we should be fine.
Yeah, well, there's lots of us that would really like it if you didn't kill yourself while you're performing. That'd be great. That'd be good.
Well, I mean, that would be a story too, so fuck it.
I would like to be at that one. So let's have a look. Right, so there are lots of people talking online about your European tour. Do you know when we're going to get an update, or what countries you're going to?
Actually, pretty soon there should be news, because I feel like now for a couple of months, you know, it's always the beginning of the year is kind of, it's in a way it's kind of slow when it comes to publicizing stuff, but we've been talking a lot, like, kind of on the, you know, in the background with the managers and the agents and everyone. And actually pretty soon there should be some news coming out. You know, don't quote me on that, because I hate to give out those, you know, soon we're going to give out big news kind of things, but that's just the way it goes at the moment. But there is going to be, you know, deals have been made and things have been signed, so there will definitely be something at some point.
Okay,
but you know, we're going to be releasing festival shows slowly now, and at some point then something bigger. It's crazy because in a way, you know, the kind of repercussions from the pandemic are still widely seen in the live industry, even though it's something that maybe a lot of the general public don't see, but especially like within agencies and bands and, you know, just the live industry, you can still see that the problem is that during the 2 years where nothing was happening, a lot of bands that have been here for a long time have released albums, but at the same time, there's a lot of new bands that have also released a lot of new music. So it's kind of like a lot of the bands that kind of were supposed to be at festivals, you know, last year and this year, they're kind of being shoved away because there's a lot of new up and coming bands also. So it's all about kind of balancing all of that out to make sure that festivals, you know, because obviously festivals have to have the hottest acts, but they have to also respect some of the older commitments that they have. So it's kind of crazy with a lot of festivals at the moment, but it's kind of, you know, slowly it's kind of figuring itself out, I feel.
I think, give it another couple of years and I think everything in the music industry will settle more.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's lots of people complaining about the price of tickets and things, and it's sort of like, but for starters, the venue wasn't open that long. The band wasn't performing all that time. You know, there's still people that need to be paid and, you know, things that still need to be paid for. And
That's the thing. And I feel like there's a lot of tours that have been, you know, postponed since 2020, and they still have the same ticket price as they had in 2020, because obviously you can't raise the ticket price during a pandemic. But that's kind of, it's suicide for bands, because all of the like the fees for buses and flights and everything have gone up, but the ticket prices are the same. So those bands are getting absolutely butchered on those tours.
Yeah, more like they're paying out extra after everything instead of getting
Exactly.
anything back.
Exactly, and I feel like my sympathies go to a lot of bands that kind of get they get a lot of shit for that, because it's like, I mean, I sort of understand the fans' point of view, but you can't be mad at a band for trying to be, you know, trying to make a tour happen financially, you know, or making it financially feasible, because, you know, at the end of the day, as I said earlier, you're doing a job, you have to live. It's like,
Yes.
we're not doing this only because it's fun. It's like, we have to try to, you know, think of the future also in a way. And that's always so boring to hear, but it's a fact.
No, it is. It is like my husband was saying to me the other day, like Lemmy from Motorhead at one point had a warehouse job as well as then going on tour. Obviously, towards the end of his life, he didn't have to, but he was having to do like a day job and then go on tour. So,
Exactly.
And that was back then. You know,
Exactly.
you still need to survive.
Absolutely. And the thing with like, well, like bands the size, like our size, for example, because like we made a deal like very early on with the guys that what we're going to do is every time we get money coming into the band, we're directly investing 100% of that money back into the band, which means that, you know, if we get an X amount of money from a festival, we're putting the same amount back into the bank waiting for a tour, because, you know, doing a tour for 4 weeks, it's like you're gonna pay a minimum of, you know, like 80,000 euros for that. So it's like, if you get that huge break at some time, but then you're like, well, shit, we kind of paid out all of this money, so how are we going to pay for the tour? So it's like, you got to think of stuff like that, and the way it goes anyway, at least, or the way that we like to think, obviously, is that once you kind of invest enough in the band, it's going to kind of start paying off. And obviously that's how a band builds itself. It's like, you don't just become huge overnight. No. And suddenly it's like you can pay, you know, wagers and or fucking, you can pay, you know, salary and do tours and stuff like that. But
yeah,
that's the side of things I hate. I'd rather just write songs and fucking play shows.
There's always something to fuck it up, isn't there?
Exactly.
Right, so you went to a lot of countries last year, touring and doing shows and things. Did you get any souvenirs along the way?
Oh, loads of stuff. Oh my god, I've been moving house now, and you know, I have this one huge drawer just full of everything. It's like, I mean, beautiful drawings, paintings, so many soft toys. Those aren't in the drawer though. I always have them near me. But you know, you have all that kind of stuff and beautiful jewelry and stuff like that. It's honestly, it's crazy, because in the end of the day, also, like, what we're doing, as I've said, like, about probably a million times during this interview already, what we're doing is essentially, you know, we're working, we're playing. But the difference just between what we do and perhaps, like, you know, just an office job or whatever, is that we get to do what we love to do. And that's in no way throwing shade at an office job, because everyone is serving an absolute fucking purpose, and everyone is doing exactly what they want to do. But, you know, for us, it's crazy that we're just like, you know, 4 guys who played in their garages, and now we tour the world, and people give us stuff. It's like, I'm still not used to this. It's weird. It's fucking cool, but it's so weird, and we're so super honored every time something like that happens. So, you know, I keep everything. I have stuff from 10 years ago, and I'm sure I'm going to have stuff from, you know, every fucking year.
Yeah, you have to start investing in storage boxes by the sounds of it soon.
100%.
I love it. Okay, so what is the best concert that you have ever been to as an attendee, not performing?
Wow, shit, that's a good question. Fuck. There's actually a lot of those. But one that I've always brought out as one of the highlights of my life was definitely, it was a festival called Sonosphere, which you know for sure, but it was one of the couple of years that they held it in Finland. And I don't remember the year. I think it was 2009. I could be wrong. But anyway, there was a fucking hurricane during the day that Iron Maiden was going to be headlining. It was Iron Maiden. There was Iggy and the Stooges were doing like a reunion thing. Alice Cooper was on the bill. It was just insane. And like halfway through the day, there was just a fucking hurricane that started actually the moment the Slayer show finished.
All
And
right.
I mean, it was chaos, and actually, one person sadly died because of this hurricane that occurred at the festival. But anyway, they shut it down for a couple of hours, and they had so many people kind of making sure bands could continue playing. And by the end of the night, Maiden had somehow got all of their equipment to work, and they played the show. And what makes it just better than any other Maiden shows I've ever seen in Finland was the fact that it got dark, because it's never dark in Finland in the summer during stadium shows and stuff like that. So it was just beautiful. There was something so it was so eerie and so beautiful. The fact that it was all dark, it was super foggy, and there was a kind of atmosphere of, triumph, because everyone had literally gone through hell that day. And that show was just, it's one of those that I'll definitely never forget. And, I mean, there's been a lot of others. I've always been super happy about the fact that, when I was like 8 years old, I saw the first metal concert in my hometown. There was I saw a Ghost show last year, which was unbelievable. So there's been a lot of them, definitely, but I'd say the Maiden show is definitely up there.
That's very cool. That's good, and such an iconic band as well.
That's the thing.
Okay, got a question from a very special person, your sister.
Look at that.
I love your sister. She is such a lovely person.
It's awesome.
If you had to change the name of the band for whatever reason, what would you change it to?
Oh shit.
That's got you thinking, hasn't it?
That's fucking hard, though. I honestly, I wouldn't even know where to start, because I mean, the funny thing, because like lots of people do ask me where the name is, where it came from, and literally, like, it was just one of the millions of names that I came up with in the beginning of the band, because it started off with something completely different, and then it turned into a million things, and then it turned into Lost Society at some point before it was like officially a thing. And the funny thing is, like, I was literally a child when I came up with that name. But the funny thing is that it gets more and more relevant year by year. Mm-hmm. So I honestly wouldn't change it to anything. But fuck, I mean, if I have to, no, honestly, that's too difficult. That's too difficult. We're just gonna call it Samy Elbanna and the fucking, Samy Elbanna and the Lost fucking boy. Lost Boys. That's the thing. That's what it is.
That's good. That's good.
Because I'm such a fucking self-indulgent son of a bitch, so we're gonna call it Samy Elbanna and the Lost Boys.
It could work.
That's a hard question. That's a hard question.
I knew she would come up with a good one. I'm really surprised how you managed to stay so hyped up and things on tour. I mean, the amount that you played last year, I don't know how you were awake by the end of it.
No, I mean, because once again, to us, it's just, referring back to what I said earlier, that it's fucking, we're four guys who literally just love playing music. And the fact that we get that opportunity night after night to do it in front of people is fucking mind-blowing. Mm-hmm. So, even if we forced ourselves to be excited about something, we don't need to. It's like, we don't need to force ourselves to be hyped up. We just are, because we're literally just getting to do something that we've dreamt of for so many years. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not to say that I'm sure, there'll be a day, sometime when I'm 50 years old, when I'm like, okay, maybe I'm a bit tired today, but it's like, fuck it. It's still, doing something that you love. Yeah. And maybe that's also like, obviously it's something to think about as a musician, that maybe the day you don't get super hyped up knowing that you're getting to perform in front of an audience, that might be the day when you have to give it a second thought of, is this something that I literally want to do anymore?
Yeah.
And I hope that's not going to happen for a long time.
So do I. I'd like to carry on seeing you. I'm bummed that I can't come to Finland for the rest of this tour. Just one thing or another was coming up, and I was like, why now? Why,
Oh shit. Well, we have to make it happen ASAP.
Yes. I'm waiting for the European tour. I'll definitely be coming on a couple of those, so
that's
you'll be
cool. That's cool.
Oh,
welcome.
Okay, now this is a little fun bit for you. Okay, do you know the game This or That? I give you two things and you've got to pick one.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay. Right. Tattoos or piercings?
Tattoos. Easy.
Okay. This is an important one. Okay. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings. 100%.
Okay. I feel a little bit heartbroken, but I'm okay. So,
I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I haven't watched a single fucking Harry Potter in my life. And I know that's gonna be even more devastating, but I actually watched I only watched all the Lord of the Rings also like a couple of years ago because I literally just never could be bothered to. But my friend forced me and I actually love them, so maybe I'll give Harry Potter a try at some point.
oh, okay. Well, I'll check in with you
To be,
again before you
but to be
finish off.
honest, with all the bullshit, like, not that it has anything to do with the characters or the story itself, but with all the controversy surrounding the origins of the whole Harry Potter thing, to be honest, it's kind of off-putting. So we'll
Fair
see.
enough. Fair enough. It's okay. Lord of the Rings is still good. It's okay. It's okay. Right. Air guitar or air drums?
Oh shit, that's actually difficult. I'll say
I
guitar
thought it-
anyway because I'm more consistent with guitar, but air drums are fucking badass too.
Okay. Flying or driving?
Oh, driving any day, any day. I hate flying.
Oh, really? Are you scared of flying, or you just don't like the hassle of it?
I was terrified of flying for most of my life, and I mean, to be honest, I still am. But it's getting increasingly easier, but I fucking hate it.
No, I don't blame. I used to be scared of flying too, and then I went to Australia with my mum and my husband, and taking off and landing 4 times in 27 hours cures being scared of flying. Believe me.
Oh shit.
Right, Instagram or TikTok?
Oh fuck. Can I say neither? I fucking hate social media, which is
Really?
probably comes as a surprise, but it's just a necessary evil. No, I mean I literally with a good conscience, I couldn't say that I absolutely hate it because I actually do enjoy doing it. I'd say TikToks because that's, again, it's something new, so it actually has provided me with some, momentary joy throughout the day.
Yeah, I've been watching some of your TikToks. Lots of people get involved. I think it's a good energy on there with all the fans and everything.
Well, then that's true, because the thing is, like, I'm giving these huge stories between a quick portion of this interview. Sorry,
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Like the thing is, I feel like for a very long time, the whole social media concept just became a kind of it almost became just like kind of just a long timeline of promoting stuff and putting basically just advertisements. But what I love about, things like TikTok, for example, that you're literally getting back to the basis of what it was, which is social media. It's like you're social with other people. And that's the thing that I love about it, that you can actually be closer to your fans. And that's something cool. So I'd say that's why I do love it still. But just like the whole kind of the culture of being fucking pressured into doing stuff on social media, that's what I hate.
Yeah. And I bet as well with you must get told by someone, have you posted today? Have you done this today? You should be posting this much a week and all that shit.
Yeah, just gonna nod my head, no comment.
I feel you. Okay, right. Horror or comedy?
Oh wow. Oh shit. I went through a huge horror phase just like a few months ago, but I'd say comedy is something that still is just, it's for every mood. Ace Ventura all fucking day long.
Oh yes. Oh my god, yes. Yeah, that is a classic film, most definitely.
The best.
Although, is it the first one or the second one?
That's difficult. I mean, we had a long discussion about this during our last show because we watched the second one. And I feel like I'm leaning a bit more towards the second one though, but the first one is fucking great too.
Okay, so planning ahead or winging it?
Oh, winging it, always. I mean, I do plan some things, but I find that most of the best things in life happen just when you just decide it like that.
Fair enough.
Because I feel like you got to trust your intuition, and usually your intuitive decision will be the one that you get instantly, but then you're thinking about it for a long time, but then you still go back to what you thought of the first time.
Yeah, and sometimes being spontaneous can be quite funny shit as well. So.
Exactly. Usually the better story comes from being impulsive.
Oh yeah, indeed. Right. Cooking or being cooked for?
Actually, cooking. I really enjoy it.
What do you like cooking the most?
Well, actually, today I made a fucking delicious kind of this like a vegan Thai curry thing, which was fucking delicious, absolutely delicious. And it's been kind of a cool challenge for myself also because starting, you know, the beginning of this year, because I've been vegetarian for a couple of years, but now I'm like going on full on vegan.
Oh,
and
right.
It's always a cool challenge, kind of finding new things to fuck around with, and I'm definitely enjoying that.
Lose your hearing or lose your sight?
Lose my sight. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory.
So you can still play and still hear what you're playing.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Right. Passenger or driver?
Actually, driver. I fucking love driving. It depends on what shift you have. If you got to do nights, it sucks, but I always enjoy if it's like just a car, like, you know, just a normal fucking 5-seater car. I'd rather drive than be a passenger.
Fair enough. Oh, that's normally my job. I'm normally the driver.
It's less boring, to be honest, because if you have a long drive, it somehow feels shorter if you're driving. It's weird, but it does.
You've got to stay awake. You've got to keep your mind active, haven't you?
Right.
You got to have the right front seat passenger to help you through.
Oh yeah, definitely. Or a good podcast or music, definitely.
Yeah, indeed. Right. Night out or night in?
Oh shit, that's hard. I mean, I'd say probably night in nowadays. But I mean,
that's just the chill.
Honestly, after the last couple of years, I'd say also a night out because I've spent too many nights in. But I mean, both have their pros and cons. But
yeah,
I'd say more like regularly. I feel like having just a night in is fucking fine. But you know, a good night out is always a good night out. I feel like a good night out requires it to be a thing that you don't do regularly.
That's a good way
of saying it. Makes it more special.
Yeah, someone's birthday or winning an award.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Right, last one. Zombies or vampires?
Oh, shit. If it was zombies or aliens, I'd say aliens, but zombies, fucking bring it on. Bring it on. I feel, though, I must give an honorable mention to vampires because I feel like everyone kind of just got bummed out of vampires because of Twilight, but watching old vampire movies is always fucking cool. So, but I'll go with zombies because they're more consistent. And I'm still like, I genuinely hope the next pandemic, you know, because it will happen someday, but I hope the next pandemic will somehow include zombies and it won't be as fucking slow as Corona was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just bring on one full on, you know, just 1 6-month period of zombies and just fucking half the population dying and I'll be fine.